Today we're talking about someone that I used to be such a big fan of, but you've seen nothing if you haven't seen this. Bill Maher is done with Neil deGrasse Tyson because the clip you're about to watch almost felt like a public parade of his most absurd takes that has forever destroyed Neil's credibility, even on the left. But apparently it wasn't even enough for him because he's now picked a needless feud with Elon Musk. Take a look for yourself and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Scientific American, the magazine. I remember when it was around when I was
grew up with it, yeah.
Grew up with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, their editor had to quit. You saw this.
Yeah, I heard about it because she expressed some opinions, right? Yeah.
Okay, sure, but it sure didn't sound scientific. It didn't sound like the person I would want to be running Scientific American.
Okay.
It was a rant on Twitter. Okay, I could read it to you. It's really ugly. You know, I apologize to younger voters that my Gen X is so full of fascists. Okay, I'm not.
Okay, I'm not a gasket right there.
I'm not for.
All right. Yeah.
I'm not for canceling anybody on either side.
Yeah.
So But here's what I think is the scandal.
What?
This is in Scientific American.
Yeah.
Less than a year ago. Inequity between male and female athletes is the result not of inherent biological differences between the sexes, but of biases in how they are treated in sports. That's nuts. And it sure ain't scientific, and it's in Scientific American. And that's why the Democrats lost the election. It's true.
You know what really jumped out at me at first? Neil deGrasse Tyson is a tragic example of what happens when science mixes with ideology, because science sadly loses. Both Neil himself and the Scientific American magazine demonstrate that perfectly, and I don't think it would have mattered if the person exposing them for it wasn't a liberal Democrat like Bill Maher. By the way, here at Freedom Frontline, we're not afraid to say it like it is, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to become part of the conversation. Now let me tell you the incredible disservice that someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson does to science when they are so unabashedly tainted with a political agenda. It's creating a schism between an American population along party lines as it regards their trust in science, and it's resulting in the scientific community at large skewing much more liberal and progressives in proportion to the rest of the population. Nature magazine found out in 2022 that over 90% of the political donations from scientists go towards the Democrats. And you know what's even more damaging than that? It's creating a self-fulfilling prophecy now. Because seeing Neil deGrasse Tyson defend the profane political rant by the former editor of a major magazine is a sign of just how much politics has infected and tainted something as important as science.
Just don't bullshit me. That's the one thing people can't ever do on this show is bullshit me. And that's fine. But I don't say that. I have very good reasons. But engage with the idea here. What I'm asking is, Scientific American is saying basically that the reason why an WNBA team can't beat the Lakers is because of societal bias.
What you're saying is not Scientific American says that. An editor for Scientific American says that who no longer has the job. So don't indict a 170-year-old magazine because somebody...
Okay, this is called Scientific American, and they're printing something
because someone enters the cesspool that is social media and then participates in that exchange. So
why can't you
let's talk about science.
Why can't you just say this is not scientific and Scientific American should do better?
Well, does she still have her job?
No, not because of this. I said the scandal is not her tweet.
Because that was like a year ago, was it? Which one was a year ago?
I think a year ago, women still couldn't beat men in basketball or any other sport. And it wasn't because of society. You don't see a problem.
By the way,
here?
long-distance swimming, women might actually have the advantage. You can look into that. Yeah.
Maybe long-distance swimming, yes. Okay.
Yeah, I've looked into it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to file you under part of the problem.
Oh, you used to be so cool, Neil deGrasse. Why is he like this? I guess that's why I think it's such a stretch to call people like Neil deGrasse Tyson or Bill Nye scientists anymore in the true sense. Now, they are very well accomplished, let me be clear with that. I am not alleging they're not real scientists. And nowadays, it seems like they're just science popularizers that used to be great scientists before the politics. Now, say what you will about someone like Richard Dawkins, at least he's got enough of a backbone to stand up to this far-left strand that's destroying the scientific image, even to the extent of losing his Humanist of the Year award from the American Humanist Association. Because here's what this knee-bending to the far left is doing. The former editor of Scientific American, Laura Helmuth, had led the publication for just over 4 years, and in that short period of time, her politically driven ambitions for it caused the magazine to break a 170-year-old precedent of not endorsing a political candidate for president. Instead, the magazine came out with a full-force endorsement of our boy Joseph Biden back in 2020, and then this time for Kamala Harris. And by the way, both were under the same editor that had exposed her bottled-up political rage on election night with a series of posts on Blue Sky, saying things like, "I apologize to younger voters that my Gen X is so full of effing fascists," and then solidarity to everyone whose meanest, dumbest, and most bigoted high school classmates are celebrating early results because F them to the moon and back. Does that sound like someone holding the highest post in the oldest and most esteemed scientific magazine in the country? It is such a fall from grace that ruins the reputation of a great publication to the ground, which is basically what Neil deGrasse Tyson has done to himself on an individual level, it seems. And for some reason, he thought it was a good idea to pick a fight with Elon Musk by trying to put cold water on his ambitions for a manned mission to Mars.
How soon could Elon Musk realistically send humans to Mars? Another good question.
I have strong views on that. My read of the history of space exploration is such that we do big, expensive things only when it's geopolitically expedient, such as we feel threatened by an enemy. And so for him to just say, let's go to Mars because it's the next thing to do, what does that venture capitalist meeting look like? So Elon, what do you want to do? I want to go to Mars. How much will it cost? $1 trillion. Is it safe? No, people will probably die. What's the return on the investment? Nothing. That's a 5-minute meeting and it doesn't happen.
So we agree. I'm not for going to Mars.
Okay, wait. I got nothing against Mars. What I'm saying is, here's how we get to Mars. Ready? China leaks a memo. Doesn't even have to be true. They leak a memo that they want to put military bases on Mars.
Right.
Then we're on Mars in 10 months, but NASA doesn't have a spacecraft, but Elon does. Here's my spacecraft to Mars, and we end up paying him to use his spaceship to get to Mars. And that'd be easy for China because Mars is already red, right? So that'd be an easy sell. That'd be an easy sell. Okay? That's how. So I don't see it happening until governments judge that it's geopolitically in our interest. Otherwise, I don't see it as just an exploration.
But I believe, is his mind stuck in the Cold War or something? The past doesn't always predict the future. Yes, the government with public funding has been on the frontier of the scientific enterprise, but that commits a major mistake. Some people are just not in it for the money. In fact, Elon Musk himself had a rebuttal to Neil that said, quote, "Wow, they really don't get it. Mars is critical to the long-term survival of consciousness. Also, I'm not going to ask any venture capitalist for money. I realize that it makes no sense as an investment. That's why I'm gathering resources." In other words, it's about triumph and legacy rather than adding a few more $1 billion on top of his $400 billion empire. I think the idea also of leaving a legacy is partially what got Donald Trump on board the idea, promising that major progress would be made to a manned mission for Mars in his second presidency. And just think about it, with the kinds of things that Musk has already done, including reusable rockets and commercializing space travel, they came about as a result of private enterprise rather than the government's geopolitical expedience, as Neil puts it. Estimates for putting the first humans to Mars range about $100 billion to $500 billion. That's obviously an insane amount of money for a project like this, but perhaps it's about shifting perspective a bit. Elon Musk, in his proximity to the next government with Doge, has said he could cut down $2 trillion of federal budget. The military's current budget exceeds $900 billion already, so looking at it holistically, it's not in the realm of impossibility if two madmen like Trump and Musk made all efforts in that direction. And what's funny is that despite being proven wrong every single time during the panel discussion, the fact that Neil would still sound as smug and sure of himself meant Bill Maher had finally put him in his place, and that happened when Neil implied this about him.
So that means we're incapable as a species of truly understanding risk. And this goes to like vaccines, okay? I don't want to like poke the bear here, but what I'm saying is,
the bear believes in vaccines just being skeptical of all medical interventions, as everyone should.
Well, except, except 99 out of 100 medical interventions, you're not saying, I need a second opinion. If you have tuberculosis, you don't need a second opinion. If you have polyps in your colon...
It's not close to 99%.
It's easily 99%.
It is not.
If you break a femur, you don't get a second opinion on that.
I agree, but that's not most things that happen to people. Lots of things that happen to people, and I'm thrilled that you don't ever have this happen in your life, but and I hope you never do. But trust me, most people at a certain point in their life will need a second opinion.
The second opinion, yes, but that's after you've been through 99 other. I'm trying to put credit back to doctors, where our life expectancy is 3 times what it was 150 years ago. And everyone before 150 years ago
but lower than the rest
organic. And half of them died before they were 35. Yeah, science matters.
Of course it does.
But sometimes you don't sound that way. That's what worries me.
Well, actually, you're the guy. You're the guy who doesn't understand why the NBA team can't beat the Lakers. So I don't know. You're supposed to be the scientist, and you couldn't even admit that.
Wow, Piers Morgan was right when he said Neil deGrasse Tyson has dug himself a woke hole, and he can't even get out. Though Elon Musk has other theories for why Neil is so stubbornly trying to mix far-left politics with science, alleging, quote, the real problem is that Neil decided to grovel to the woke far left when he got hit with a Me Too. You can avoid being canceled if you beg for forgiveness and push their nonsense ideology. The truth hurts. Think of that what you will, but I think it's incredible how far Neil deGrasse Tyson has fallen when he decided to sacrifice objectivity at the altar of politics. But let me know in the comments if you agree, because he may have to eat his words about Elon Musk's grand ambitions in the next 4 years, and it will certainly be interesting to watch.